It is the Ship Nerd back with another video, and today we are looking at ships, funnily enough, given the theme of the channel. But we're not just looking at any ships. We're looking at ships with the wrong amount of funnels. Now what I mean by this, for example, if you were to take a ship like SS Normandy, for example, okay? Now, what I mean by the wrong amount of funnels, obviously she, by design, had 3 funnels. But what if she didn't? You see, what if she only had 2 funnels? Well, that is today's topic. This is the first example. As you can see, I'm using my phone editing system to quite literally draw over some of the funnels, okay? I've not done the top image because that's way too complex for me to do on a phone. But the bottom image, nice and easy. So, yeah, we're looking at that. Now, Normandy is our first example, so I'm going to save that image. And to be honest, I think it actually looks quite nice. I mean, I used to be quite a sucker for, like, the entire superstructure had to have funnels in it, you know. It looked empty. But there's a certain elegance about it. I don't know. I just like it. Anyway, that is the first example. And what I'll do, I'm going to rate them how they normally look. Then I'm going to rate them on, for example, their proposed look with more or less funnels, depending on what I think looks better. So here is our next ship. Actually, before that, I'm going to say normally 9 out of 10. Right now, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It doesn't quite look right, but it looks really good still. Next up is a naval ship. This is HMS Caroline. Now, HMS Caroline, one of the museum ships for the National Museum of the Royal Navy, or I think they've changed the name to Royal Navy Museum now. So it's fairly well known. It's still around today, and she hasn't really changed her appearance. She has 2 funnels and then a big fat one in between them. But what if, rather than having those 3 funnels, she had 2? Yeah, that's what we're doing. So it looks empty in the middle. I'll give it that. It seems they've actually shortened the gap between the 2 funnels as well, which I'm noticing if you look at this this forward funnel, it's quite near the tower, but there it's a bit further away, so they've actually shortened the gap, which I like. But it does look empty. I would say before she was a solid. She's not a looker, I'll give it that, but she's not ugly. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And here I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Once again, I've seen better looking battleships and cruisers and destroyers. She's not the prettiest, but she wasn't designed to be. Next up is SS France. Now, I've actually got 2 images for this. I've got this one here and this one here. She's iconic for those massive, huge red funnels with the wings coming out either side. But what would she look like if she only had 1? Well, very peculiar, partially because they've also got rid of the wings on the funnel, but it is what it is. She looks way worse. At least in this image, she looks way worse. So, based off this so far, she's going from an 8 to a 5. No, not even that, a 4. However, would she look better from this image? We're going to find out. And actually, she looks better than the other image of 1 funnel. This we need to get rid of. This stinks. Don't want to see this again in my life. This looks alright. Okay, I don't think it's as good as the. No, I'm gonna have to give it a. Well, the ship normally is an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.5. It's not quite a 7, but it's good. I quite like it. It doesn't. If I saw that, I wouldn't think it's an ugly ship. That's the important thing. If I saw that, I'd think, what on earth am I looking at? So yeah, don't go for this one. I like this one. I like this one a lot more anyway. Okay, next up, we've actually got the Kaiser Wilhelm der Grosse, and I've jumped straight into a 2 funnel design, 2 different ones that I had to spend ages editing myself. I think I've done a good job in editing out a lot of the funnels and the wires and stuff, but you know, I'm just bigging myself up here. It looks good, I think. I can't see an area that I've missed actually, which is quite remarkable. So she's known for having 2 sets of 2 funnels. I don't mean 4 funnels, I mean 2 close together, then a big gap, then another 2 close together, and I'm going to show you a picture in a second. She'd normally look like this. You see 2 funnels, a big gap in between the 2 sets of 2 funnels, and she looks really good. It's one of my favourite ocean liners actually. I think it goes under the radar because it's outshone by the likes of the other 4 stackers, Lusitania, Mauretania, Titanic, Olympic, Britannic, So I think she's a really lovely 4 stacker. And she was quite groundbreaking at the time of her launch as well. She was easily the largest ship afloat for a while. I'm just going to give her, off the bat, I just think she looks very classy. I'm going to give her an 8.5 out of 10. As for this design here, well, I don't know which one I prefer more. I think I prefer that bottom one. I do. It's a lovely ship, even from the side profile though, isn't it? I'm going to say the top one gets a 7 and the bottom one gets an 8. If I saw that bottom one, I'd think that is a beautiful ship. If I saw that top one, I'd think it's a good looking ship. Now we've had one SS France, the more famous one, operating in the 60s. We've now got a second one. This is from 1910. This is SS France, but the earlier one. It's from the French line, or the Compagnie Générale Transatlantique. It's easier to say CGT. And she's quite a nice ship. I would automatically give her an 8 out of 10. I think she looks very nice. I love the curved front to the superstructure. A 4 funnel ship is always just something nice to watch. Yeah, no, she looks good. She's very good. I actually nearly mistook her for the Lusitania immediately. And I was like, hang on, but this white bit of superstructure at the front here just doesn't make sense. And you can just kind of make out the 6 letters there as well. Anyway, easily an 8. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. She looks so good. But how would she look with just 2 funnels? Truth be told, not too bad. Only thing I'm thinking is there's a lot of space towards the back of the ship that hasn't been utilised with funnels. I like it. Truth be told, I was trying to do 3 funnels. But I experimented with 2 and it's better, I think. So, I would give it I think it deserves 8. No, 7.5. It looks lovely. I do love it. I think it looks great. But yeah, 7.5. I've also just found out as well, there were only 15 4 stackers to ever be built. Only 15 ocean liners with 4 funnels were ever built. That's crazy. And she's one of them. So yeah. Well, she's not anymore. But yeah, I think she looks slightly worse. I'm hoping to find one that actually looks better than before, but we'll see. Normandy was close. at the very start. Now we have a picture of what I can only presume to be the Frankfurt, which is most famous for being within somewhat close proximity to the Titanic when she sunk. If you look at a map of all the close ocean liners, she's in the top 5. I think it's Carpathia, or Californian, Carpathia, her and 2 others. She's not bad. She's a late 1800s design. That's immediately obvious. She looks okay. I wouldn't say she looks especially amazing. I would say actually the one funnel makes it look a bit bare. This is the one I'm probably going to say if we increase the number of funnels, it'll look better. But we will find out. She does look good. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. She's not my favourite looking ship. Maybe the image doesn't help, but maybe it's quite grainy, you know. If the forecastle and the poop deck were white in colour, then I might be more inclined to increase it up to a 7.5 or something, but we'll see how she looks. And immediately I'm saying, yep, better. This is a 7.5 for me. She just looks, I don't know what it is, just looks like there's more about her now. I'm also going in a world where obviously, like, these funnels are needed for ventilations, get rid of all of the smoke and the steam generated when the engines make her move. So I'm not completely ignoring that, but I am. Like, I know obviously you need these funnels for a reason, and like, if you take away some funnels, then the ship's probably going to be going slower because they need, I know these things, but we're just imagining that nothing is affected apart from her appearance, because there'd be too much to get into at that point, and I probably would be talking for hours on how every single thing has changed because of it, blah blah blah. Like, oh yeah, she's going slower because there's less boilers down there, there's less engines, and you remove that ventilation tube, and suddenly there's more room for cabins. So the capacity's increased, and well, then that means that they're going to have more furniture, so the tonnage has increased. There. It's just way too much to get into. So yeah, I think she looks better. I'm going from a 6.5, taking it up to, I'm going to give it a 7.5. This is the first ship that looks better with the change of funnels. Anyway, next up, we have RMS Lancastria. Now, she is most famous for being one of the worst shipping disasters of all time. And what I mean by that is, we don't quite know how many people sunk on her. She was part of the evacuations from northern France in World War II, and she was bombed and sunk. I've covered it on the channel before. She's one of the I covered it quite early on the channel, actually, of my long form videos, and she's if I recall correctly, between 4,000 and 7,000, because they once again didn't know how many people were actually being evacuated at the time. I do know that her sinking would have been avoidable if she hadn't have waited for another ship. Another ship got delayed. I think it was like an engine fault or something, or along those lines, mechanical failure. And Lancastria decided to wait with the ship because of safety in numbers. However, ended up sinking. Whereas if she'd gone earlier, there's a good chance she would have survived. So, yeah. Anyway, that's not today's topic. Today's topic is how would you look with a different set of funnels? And we are going to find out in just a second. I'm going to give her... She's not bad looking. She's not the best. She's quite small, but she looks big. As far as ocean liners have gotten, I'm going to give it a 7. She's not bad looking. She's good. She's a good looking ship. She's just not a beautiful ship. I wouldn't say. Myself, anyway. There's not that sense of elegance. But who knows? So, 7 out of 10. I'm going from a 7 out of 10 for me to a So see what they've done. They've pushed one of the funnels a slight bit forwards. They pushed the funnel forwards and added one afterwards. I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it adds to the ship. I like it. I think it looks like it's meant to be there. If you showed me that ship, obviously, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I want that ship. That ship looks like it's meant to be there. I think the spacing is very good between the funnels. I think it doesn't make the ship look cluttered or crowded in any way. It doesn't take away from like the spacious top area of the ship that it feels like from here. I like it. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I used to an 8, to be honest. I like it a lot more. So that's the second ship that looks better. But there we go. Next up, we're looking at another Royal Navy Museum ship, and this is one that I've actually worked on many a time. HMS Warrior. Now, HMS Warrior is, of course, a bit older than most of the ships on this list. Launched in 1860, and she's notable for being the first metal-hulled ship in the Royal Navy. And she was very revolutionary. Unfortunately, that led to her being completely obsolete in 10 years' time, but that's fine. I'm just wondering. I took this picture of. Obviously, I didn't take the picture. I just screenshot the picture of the ship. The mizzen mast is missing. We're gonna have to make do with that. But how would you look with an extra funnel? Truth be told, very weird. I'm not used to seeing that. I did try with one funnel as well, and it just doesn't quite. It doesn't look bad. It just didn't look right for me. Yeah, with one funnel, she looked a bit odd. With two funnels, it's just your normal. But I tried with three funnels. It doesn't look amazing for me. I think before as far as warships go, she's quite a lovely looking ship. So I'd give her like a 7.5 out of 10. But afterwards, I'm going to give her a 6. It's just it's too close to the mast for me, actually. That might be the issue. But we do still have another ship to go, and we're going to take a little look at that as well. And that is the Imperator. Now, she is a beautiful ship. Got a very lovely, notable feature on the bow, making it look even better. And she was, for a time, ginormous. I think she took the title of largest ship off of the Olympic class, if I remember correctly. So very big. Now, she's big. She's not the most elegant on the outside. Obviously, as the ship gets bigger, it's very difficult to keep the elegant, the smooth lines and stuff. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting one to see if she looks any better or not, because she's quite chunky. I feel like the funnels are needed to kind of divert your attention from that. But we're going to find out. So they removed the last funnel. I don't hate it. It does look good. In fact, I think it makes it look more modern, because obviously you went from like your 2 funnels up to 3 funnels up to 4 funnels, then back down to 3 funnels, and then it became common for 2 funnels again. And now we only have 1. I like it. I'm saying it goes from an 8. I think it stays the same. I think it's an 8 still. It just looks slightly more modern almost. I like it a lot. It's gone from 1913 to 1923 in just 1 funnel being removed. That's what I'm seeing anyway. So yeah. Overall, obviously, more ships look better with the funnels they already have. than they do if you were to add or subtract some funnels from them. This is the only one that I said stay the same in terms of how good it looks. And that's that. I will maybe do some more of this in the future. Let me know if you wanted to see some more funnels. It takes a while to get these pictures, obviously. Some of them, unfortunately, I have to do AI. I can't do Photoshop. I haven't got a laptop. But a lot of them, I'm also editing on my phone, which takes ages. So, yeah, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you for another video at some point. Toodaloo.